Hi there. My composition videos have brought about a little controversy that I found a little unusual, actually. A few people were put out by the fact that we were talking about geometry and mathematics with regards to composition. And I think basically their point was that that had no place in art. Art is very intuitive. Now, my only response to that is, yes, you're right. However, saying that geometry is not necessary in art, is not a part of art, is like saying physics isn't a part of baseball. An outfielder does not have to have a degree in physics. The outfielder does not have to be able to do calculations for the parabolic travel of a baseball and take into account all of the other variables such as wind speed and so on. He just has to intuitively know when he sees that ball in the air where it's going to come down. That is knowledge of physics. It isn't a quantitative knowledge of physics, it's a qualitative one. And indeed, that's the point I'm making with my composition videos. The composition videos are not meant to say these are rules you must follow. Instead, what the composition videos are really all about is pointing out that if you were to study art formally, there are certain formal structures and formal points that an artist doesn't necessarily need to be able to quantify, but they have to understand the quality of it. Something like rule of thirds is merely a way of adding a little dynamicism, making your image more dynamic by placing the subject away from the center. Too often, people just stick everything in the middle of the frame. That can work really, really well if you're shooting square format or if you're shooting things that are very symmetrical. But for most other things, it just means for a lot of really boring pictures. So rule of thirds is just a way of shaking it up a little. Now, do you need to follow rule of thirds? Of course not. Do you need to know about the image armature? Oh, definitely not. But you need to recognize that if there is a diagonal in the image that fits well with the diagonal of the frame, it's probably going to be a good-looking image. So, guys, my takeaway, or your takeaway from what I was saying, is just that I am giving you the formal structure. I am giving it in an informal manner. I am not going through the detail that would be in a formal art class. But I'm giving you an overview so that you can look at your own images and say, did I use these things, or have I used them, or should I use them? In other words, it's an evaluative tool. It's a way for you to evaluate your images. And as for my videos and future videos, lately I've been watching a few videos by an English photographer by the name of Sean Tucker. What I like most about Sean Tucker's videos is that although he does have videos with tips and so on, he has videos that are I guess the correct word is philosophical videos. Videos that delve into the psychology and the philosophy behind why we take pictures, how we take pictures, how our personality affects the pictures we take, and how to learn to see. And as such, I find that very valuable. Too often, channels on YouTube tend to lean too heavily into reviews of new gear, or in some cases, well, let's be honest, in some cases trying to sell you something. Channels that give you knowledge or make you think, I think that's what you need to look for. knowing, you know, I watch all the review videos. I mean, I watch the videos about the new Nikon D850. I watch the Sony a7R III videos. I watch the Olympus OMD EM1 Mark II videos. All of these videos, including those for cameras that I have no intentions of ever owning. I mean, I'm never going to afford Leica, but I watch the reviews anyway. But that's just my personal interest in gears, in mechanical things. I've always had that interest ever since I was a child. That's why I have a collection of model cars, some of which you can see behind me, I think, and a collection of old cameras. I like the mechanics of it all. That's why, you know, I wear a mechanical watch. Not a high-end expensive one, but a mechanical watch. Now, I know it doesn't keep as good time, and for the price it costs, I could buy 10, 20 watches that will tell better time. They won't look very nice, and they'll be pretty cheap, but they will work better, because modern electronics is far more precise than the mechanism in this watch. But I just like those things. And that's why occasionally I will do gear videos again. I think I've gotten over my gas. The gear acquisition syndrome seems to have faded away. I sold a camera just a little while ago, and instead of rushing out and buying a new piece of camera gear, I put the money aside for you know, the possibility of having to upgrade my computer equipment in the not too distant future. I didn't run out and buy more camera stuff. Well, guys, that's about it today. Today, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that these composition videos are going to continue. And, you know, if you don't like the mathematics of it, then take a look at the images and see if there's anything there that you can get from it. You don't have to be a mathematician. You don't have to be a geometer in order to be able to take good pictures. But when photographers like Henri Cartier-Bresson describe the main feature of his images as geometry, you realize that the word does belong. And geometry, the simple geometry of an image, can have a great effect on the impact of the image. Now, that is not in any way to belittle the emotional impact, because, of course, many images compositionally may be considered weak images. But because of their subject matter, the emotional impact is there. And guys, that's a whole different story. I'm not getting into the emotional impact of images. I think you need to maybe watch channels like Sean Tucker's in order to get maybe a little better insight into the philosophy behind photography. Well, anyhow, I'm starting to ramble, so that means it's time to go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like. If you wish to see more of my videos, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And, of course, if you think anybody might get something useful from this particular video, then share it. Well, bye for now.